Yesterday, I was sitting in my favorite cafe, enjoying a cup of coffee and reading a book. The rain was falling outside, and the cozy atmosphere of the cafe felt like a warm embrace. Suddenly, a stranger walked in. He was tall and thin with piercing blue eyes and a mysterious aura. He wore a long dark coat and a white brimmed at that brim hat that shadowed his face. He sat down at the table next to mine and ordered a black coffee. I couldn't help but steal glances at him. As I sipped my coffee, he seemed lost in thought, staring useless out the window at the rain. I have always been fascinated by strangers, their stories, and the path left them to this particular moment. As I was finishing my book, the stranger turned to me and asked, "Have you ever wondered about the story behind everyday object?" Surprised by his sudden question, I replied, "I never really thought about it before." He smiled enigmatically and sighed, "Everything has a story if you know where to look." With that, he got up, left a genius tip on the table, and walked out into the rain. I haven't seen him since, but his words have stayed with me. I now I now find myself looking at ordinary objects with a newfound curiosity, wondering about the journeys they have taken and the lives they have touched. I have learned that even the most mundane things can hold hidden stories waiting to be discovered. The stranger at the cafe may have dissipated into the rain, but he left me with a gift, the gift of curiosity and a deeper appreciation for the world around me.
Yesterday, I was sitting in my favorite cafe, enjoying parties, enjoying a cup of coffee and reading a book. The rain was falling outside, and the cozy atmosphere of the cafe felt like a warm embrace. Suddenly, a stranger walked in. He was tall and thin with piercing blue eyes and a mysterious aura. He wore a long, dark coat and wide brimmed hat that shadowed his face. He sat down at the table next to mine and ordered a black coffee. I couldn't help but steal class at him as sipped my coffee. He seemed locked in a thought, staring out the window at the rain. I have always been fascinated by strangers, their stories, and the path that led them to the particular moment. As I was finishing my book, the stranger turned to me and asked, "Have you ever wondered about the stories behind everyday objects?" Surprised by his sudden question, I replied, "I never really thought about it before." He smiled enigmatically and said, "Everything has a story if you know where to look." With that, he got up, left a generous tip on the table, and walked out into the rain. I haven't seen him since, but his words have stayed with me. I now find myself looking at ordinary objects with a newfound curiosity, wondering about the journeys they have taken and the lives they have touched. I have learned that even the most mountain thing can hold hidden stories waiting to the discover. The stranger at the cafe may have.
Did you notice anything different in the story? So I made a few changes in the story. Let's go through the story and see where I made the changes, okay? Yesterday I was sitting. This is past continuous. Is this correct? Enjoying a cup of coffee and reading a book. The rain was falling. This is past continuous. This is correct. Falling outside and the cozy atmosphere of the cafe felt simple past. Is this correct? That's correct. Cafe felt. That is simple past. That is correct.
Felt மட்டுமல்ல
Felt, yes. The cafe felt. It felt. So that's a simple past. That is correct. Like a warm embrace, suddenly a stranger walked. Simple past. That's also correct. He was, simple past, tall and thin, with piercing blue eyes and a mysterious aura. He wore, simple past, a long dark coat and a white brimmed hat that shadowed his face. Shadowed, simple past. He sat, simple past, down at the table next to mine and ordered, simple past, a black coffee. I couldn't help, simple past, but steal glances at him as I sipped, simple past, my coffee. He seemed lost in thought, staring, staring out the window at the rain. I have always been fascinated. This is I have. And it says past perfect. Is this correct? No, that's wrong because the auxiliary verb is have. Have is present tense. So this is not past tense. This is present tense. Okay. This is present perfect. By strangers, their stories, and the path that led them to this particular moment. Okay, in the next slide, where I marked past continuous, this is correct. Simple past, this is correct. Past perfect, is this correct? Have you ever wondered? Have,
Present past.
this is present. Okay, have and the that is present. It's not past. So that is wrong. Present past, sorry, present perfect. Then, surprised by his sudden question, I replied, I never really thought about it before. He smiled enigmatically and said, everything had simple past. But this is a, this should be in present tense. Everything has, right? And this is not simple past. This is everything has a story, right? This is simple present. Everything has a story. Right. If you know where to look, that's correct. If you know, is again simple present. Right. I was trying to see if you can catch that up. That's okay. That's fine. With that, got up, left, walked. I haven't seen. So this is have. So it should be present. Right. Next one is mm,
Yes.
have have stayed. This is present. I now find.
Sorry
This
sir,
is
அந்த முதல் பேஜ்ல அந்த கடைசி
if you know, it's simple present.
okay.
I haven't seen this present perfect, have stayed present perfect, and now find simple present. Okay. Myself looking past participle used as adjective at ordinary objects with a newfound curiosity, wondering about the journeys that
Have taken.
have taken present perfect. In the lives they have touched, present perfect. I have learned, present perfect. That even the most mundane things can hold, that is simple, present, hold, hidden stories, waiting to be discovered. The stranger at the cafe may have, present perfect, may have hidden stories waiting to be discovered. The stranger at the cafe may have disappeared, perfect, into the rain, but he left, simple past, me with a gift, the gift of curiosity and a deep appreciation for the world around me. Right. With this, I gave you a video to look at. It's on YouTube. You might have looked at it. It's a simple storytelling. I hope that you all have watched it. Now let's move into the next one. This is session 20. So these are a few words or few questions. We are going to identify them, which tense they are in. Okay, first we will start with the meaning. If anybody knows the meaning of the first one, can you say it in Tamil? Please raise your hands.
Have you ever visited a museum? எப்பயாவது நீங்க நூதன சாலைக்கு போயிருக்கிறீங்களா? Present perfect.
Present perfect. Thank you. And correct. Nivedi, the second one.
What were you doing yesterday at 5 p.m.? நீங்கள் நேற்று மாலை 5 மணிக்கு என்ன செய்தீர்கள்?
In the tense. Okay. Anybody else who can try that?
What were you doing yesterday at 5 p.m.? நேற்று 5 மணிக்கு நீங்க என்ன செய்து கொண்டிருந்தீங்க? Past continuous tense.
Correct. Okay, the next one. Who can say the next one? Third one.
இன்றைக்கு காலையில் உணவு உண்டீர்கள்.
Past tense.
Simple past. So that's correct. Okay. Last one. How long have you lived in this city?
Present perfect.
Yes. Meaning?
இந்த நகரத்துல எவ்வளவு காலமா வாழ்ந்து கொண்டிருக்கிறீங்க?
வாழ்ந்திருக்கிறீர்கள்.
Sorry, வாழ்ந்திருக்கிறீர்கள்.
Yeah. Okay. Correct. Thank you. So if you look at it, have you ever visited a museum? Is past perfect. It's a past perfect. Present perfect. Yeah. That was a mistake. I made a mistake. Sorry. This is present perfect. What were you doing yesterday at 5 p.m.? Past continuous. Did you eat breakfast this morning? Simple past. How long have you lived in this city? Present perfect with for. Okay. Present perfect, but it also has the for that's added there. So how are we finding the tenses? We are looking at the auxiliary verb, and with the auxiliary verb, we are trying to find out the tense, right? Mostly this is the case. So when you have that's present perfect, just were, that's past continuous, did, simple past, and have is present perfect again. Right, so the easy way to understand this is to make a sentence. If there is a question, then make it into a sentence. Transform it into a sentence. Like this, right? So the first one is present perfect. Second one is past continuous. Third one is simple past. Fourth one is present perfect. How can I understand that? Very easily. First one, have you ever visited? If you make it a sentence, it will become like you have visited. Second one is, what were you doing yesterday at 5 p.m.? It will be you were doing. Third one, did you eat? The sentence is you ate. Fourth one, how long have you lived in this city? If it is a sentence, it will be you have lived, right? So if you try and understand this form, then you can understand the tenses. Okay, so this is a recap from the past classes and what we have learned already. Today we are going to look at something else.